In the meantime, I want to bring in the Shadow Cabinet Secretary, Andrew Wallace, a former Speaker in the House of Representatives. Andrew Wallace, thanks for your time. Big news out of Washington. Do you share the cautious optimism, as it's been called, in relation to the announcements made by Donald Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Well, it is good news so far. There is a degree of cautious optimism. I think we just need to be a little bit careful, though, because this whole thing could be derailed by Hamas at any turn. So it's good news, but let's not get too excited. The reality is that Hamas, as we know, are a listed terrorist organisation in Australia and in many other parts of the world. So I don't know if I would say, cautious optimism. But we'll wait and see.
Well, we can pick up where the PM kicked off there in relation to the government's response. Is that an appropriate response to the developments in the uncertainty that remains in the Middle East? Obviously, you want a positive outcome if we can see one off the back of the peace deal announced by President Trump.
Yeah, look, I think what this peace offer. I don't know that I'd call it a deal just yet, but I think what this peace offer demonstrates is just how the Prime Minister played Australia out of the game here by announcing prematurely the recognition of a Palestinian state without appropriate preconditions. Effectively, the Prime Minister signed a blank cheque to Hamas. Yes, he mouthed all the words about ensuring that Hamas did not play a leadership role in government or governing Hamas. But the reality is we know that Hamas is very, very unlikely to listen to the Prime Minister and other countries that have made those announcements. But effectively what Israel and the US have agreed to overnight is a good step forward, but what it does demonstrate is just how premature the Prime Minister was and a number of other world leaders from the left made in making that premature announcement.
Isn't there an argument that was part of the pressure? Certainly those governments would argue that was part of the international pressure that put the heat on Israel and well, obviously the White House not entirely pleased with Benjamin Netanyahu. You saw an extraordinary move by President Trump putting the leader of Qatar on the phone to Netanyahu to apologise.
Well, I think there needed to be an apology on the part of Prime Minister Netanyahu to attack the Qatar in the way that it did. It was quite an egregious attack on Qatari soil, particularly involving Qatari individuals that were working towards trying to resolve a peaceful solution. And the Prime Minister of Israel has rightly made those apologies. Some would say quite belatedly, but the reality is, let's bring this back to Australian politics. The Prime Minister played Australia out of the game by effectively signing a blank cheque to Hamas. I am quite sceptical about whether Hamas will agree to this deal. Hamas still obviously want to remain a governing body in Gaza. And I don't think they'll give that up lightly. I mean, the reality is this war could be over today if the remaining hostages were returned and if Hamas laid down their weapons. They haven't done that to date. Yeah. And I remain sceptical whether they will. Time will tell.
Andrew Wallace, yes, time will tell. We will catch you next week. Thank you as always.
Authorised by Andrew Wallace, LNP, Boccarina, Queensland.